Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Thank you for joining me. Let's talk today about power. What is it? This is one of these rather elusive subjects here in the world, isn't it? It's one of the things that we don't stop to really consider in our day-to-day life. And that makes perfect sense, doesn't it? Because we've got email to check, we've got bills to pay, you may have a job to go to, or if you work at home, to sit down in front of a computer screen and attend to. You may have phone calls to make, and the dog needs to be fed, and there's laundry, and then there's meal preparation, there's going to the store, there's going for a walk or to the gym. There are all kinds of things that occupy our mind. And it's rare to take the time out that you're taking right now to really consider everything, to consider everything. The very foundations of what you now believe, which is what we're invited to question. So, to the extent that you're actively questioning that, that is most excellent. I hope you keep doing it. Welcome. Here in the world, power is just an idea, isn't it? People seem to hold it. Governments seem to hold it. Who gave it to them? I mean, really. It's an idea. And the way that we view it here in the world is power over another or over a group of people. A government appears to have power over its citizens. A boss in the workplace appears to have power over his or her employees. The word appears is very important here. The boss, the government, only appears to have power. There is no separation of any kind. Therefore, there is no separate other over whom anyone could ever exercise power anyway. Not the way the world sees it. Well, welcome to A Course in Miracles. Should you choose to stick around, you'll undoubtedly hear something that's going to be of value to you. And if you don't, that's not a problem. There's a lot of other content out there on the internet. Yet here you are. So, should you choose to continue watching, and I hope that you do, there's a message for you today. When your inner teacher reveals it to you, you would do very well to pay attention to that message and then to act accordingly. Because that is where the real learning is on the spiritual path. It's not necessarily from listening to a talking head, and this is a pixelated image on your screen. That's what this is, after all. That is important, and understanding these teachings on an intellectual level has some importance, but that absolutely pales in comparison to our experience, which is where the action is in spirituality, no matter the tradition. It's through our practical application of the teachings, whatever they may be, that we discover through our own experience that they're true. This is how we discover that the ideas presented in this self-study curriculum are true, through putting them into practice in our daily lives. So let's continue our discussion about power, because the fundamental important point here is that power, true power, is shared. It is shared. It is not power over, it's power with, joined, oneness. True power is shared. Because as we all deep down know, whether we choose to consciously acknowledge this or not, this entire world is a made-up illusion. It's a dream that sometimes is very beautiful, sure, and other times it's extraordinarily painful and very tiresome. So we're invited to really deeply consider what Jesus is telling us here in the Course. So specifically, we're on chapter 10, section 3. It's entitled The God of Sickness, and we're talking about idols here. And again, this is not a graven image of anything. It's not the golden calf. It's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the illusions that we take to be real, and we give all of the power and all of the meaning that the illusions have ourselves. We give them the power over us. We give other people power over us. We give an illusion power to define us. Here is one of these illusions, which is not the Son of God. And we all know this. And again, feel welcome to completely disagree. No problem, right? Feel welcome to deny this. It is your choice. And if God doesn't interfere with your choice, if the Holy Spirit doesn't interfere with your choice in the present moment, none of us has the right to interfere in your choice either. So we're free to deny this as much as we want to. And you can bet that you will hear the ego shrieking and demanding that you do that. It's part of the path. The ego does not want you to believe in your power, which is of God, because you're part of Him. You're one with Him. There are no component parts. Only God is. So along the way, if we allow ourselves to do it, and I hope that you do, we come to a very real conclusion about who, what, and where we really are, don't we? And it's something we've known for a long, long time. So let's bring that into the light, shall we? When we're talking about idols, again, they're pictures of ourselves that we want to be true, but they're not. And the body is one of those. So the body's wild fluctuations, sickness, 1 minute health, those are, in the language of A Course in Miracles, idols as well. So when we see a brother as sick, when we believe that a son of God can be sick, we're worshiping the same idol that he is, sickness, which ultimately, if we follow the ego's thought system to its natural conclusion, is death. This doesn't last, does it? And how could it, really? No matter how advanced our medical sciences may be, or no matter what kind of shape you're in, or what kind of genetics and long-lived genes, whatever that is, that you may happen to have, this is finite. It's 80% water, which is moving and changing. It's not the Son of God. Anything that changes, anything that shifts in any way, anything that transforms is illusion. God is the all, constant. So too is the Son of God, the extension of God. You and me and your ex and your kids, people that you love, people that you in the world insist that you don't love. All the Son of God. Love shares power. Love never usurps power. So love doesn't see power as power over another. There is no separation of any kind. True power has nothing to do with an artificially created hierarchical structure where one person is more powerful than another. One person is not more powerful than another, no matter what his or her station in life. No matter how much power or prestige this person has, no matter how much money this person has, no matter what the size of his or her private jet, mansions, number of bodyguards, and value of their stock portfolio, or whatever. Not one of us is more powerful than any other because there is no other. There is only perfect oneness. And when we forgive, when we truly forgive the Son of God, we're acknowledging this. And it's beginning to dawn in our mind. And as you continue to study and practice this course, as you continue to go forth and extend love to the Son of God, you're beginning to get it. You could embrace that and keep beginning to get it, or you could choose to run and hide. Your choice. That is our choice, again, in the present moment. So which will it be? Well, that's up to you. Part of the brilliance of this course is the fact that it's self-study. It's not a religion. The world doesn't need another one of those, does it? And it certainly doesn't need another cult. Yeah, not even. This is self-study. Let's all be glad of that. Power can't be taken from you because you're part of God. Okay, the end, right? We'll say some more, but power cannot be usurped from you. No one can take power from you because you're part of God, and you can't take power from them either. Power is not an unequal business transaction. We're part of God. Power can't be taken from us. It is ours, rather. It's power with, not over. If you side with the ego and believe that you're an individual, then the ego's picture of you is this independently existing, isolated, vicious attack dog, really. An individual self-sustaining survival unit. It's a term I'm fond of using here. It describes the way the ego sees it, and, well, throw in the vicious attack component. We may not think of ourselves as attacking our brother, but when we judge, that's exactly what we're doing. When we look at someone's behavior and we think they're a complete idiot, and we respond with something other than love, we're attacking. We do it in our mind. An attack may or may not ever involve a physical assault. It often does, unfortunately, but it doesn't need to. I mean, yes, we can say here in the world it doesn't need to get to that level, and that's true. But attack is in the mind when we see ourselves as separate and we define and defend personal territory, starting with this. We're out to preserve our personal territory against imminent assault and threat that we see all about us, whether we acknowledge it or not. We feel attacked, or that our brother is going to attack us, so we construct elaborate defenses. We're simply confused. We don't actually need to construct elaborate defenses against our brother, in truth, because our brother is us. Not related to us, not next door to us, us. So when we plot and scheme, we're anywhere but the present moment. We dwell on past mistakes of our own or someone else's, and we think about how we're going to get back at someone, or we plan a preemptive strike or construct an elaborate defense against an attack that may never come, but that in the present moment we're absolutely certain will, and we've convinced ourselves of this. If this sounds like an unpleasant way to live, yeah, it is, isn't it? There's a reason why you're on the spiritual path, because you have heard the call of our inner teacher, and you just know that there's more to it than all of these wild and fanciful games. You do. You've heard the call and you answered it. So I invite you to continue to answer the call, because the logical conclusion of the ego's game, the logical conclusion of the ego's thought system follows directly from thinking you're an individual self-sustaining survival unit. Well, we don't see ourselves as surviving anyway, because this thing that's 80% water has a limited shelf life, doesn't it? I mean, to the point where if we live 80 to 90 calendar years, we're considered very fortunate. And often it's a lot less than that. Is that eternal? No, it has a finite limit. The Son of God is eternal, and we know that. We know that. I mean, deny if you wish to deny. Truly, it's your choice. But we know. Do you really want the conclusion of the ego's thought system? Death, repeated death. Or would you rather give it up in exchange for life? Which simply is, it does not end. The physical body ends, but life does not end. There is no end. It simply is. So you're invited today by our inner teacher to really consider these ideas. And then when you're called to do it, which I hope is immediately after this video ends, put it into practice and then do it again and again. Anytime we attack our brother's divinity, we're hurting ourselves. There is no one else out there. Attack is attack on ourselves. Forgiveness is forgiveness of ourselves. Extending love is extending love to ourselves. It only looks like we're extending it to a separate being, but there is no separate being. It's in our mind. So when we attack our brother's divinity, his divinity, we're attacking our own. We're losing sight of our own. So would you continue to lose sight of your own divinity, or would you share your own divinity with your brother and keep it in your mind? Because sharing is how you keep things. It is. It's how we keep things in our mind. So what are you sharing that you will keep in your mind? So along the way here, it's inevitable that you will have both questions and doubts. Expect this on the spiritual path. It is part of the path. No matter what tradition or traditions you follow, these videos present A Course in Miracles. There are many other traditions out there. In fact, part of the beauty of appearing to live in AD 2023 is that we have a lot at our fingertips, literally. Every spiritual tradition that exists in this world is readily accessible. All we have to do is look for information on it on the internet. So amidst all of that content, that's a lot, isn't it? Here you are. Something about this course in particular has drawn you in. What is that? Questions are more than welcome here. And if you've got them, please feel welcome to leave them. And if you have not yet subscribed, I'd love to have you join us. The subscription arrow is here in the corner of your screen. If you click on that, you'll be prompted to subscribe. And I hope that you do that because we have a growing international community and some very, very good questions are being asked right here. So this is a perfect forum for inquiry because, well, what is spirituality but some deep self-inquiry anyway? Now, it's come up many times that you're free to doubt this material or embrace it. And that is true, isn't it? We have a choice in the present moment, and it's entirely up to us. So to the extent that what we say here on these videos rankles you, or it seems like it's too far out to possibly be true at all, understand that is the ego that is afraid. You, who you really are, have no reason to be afraid at all because there's nothing to fear. There's nothing to fear. So I thank you, as always, for tuning in and for joining me. And we'll continue to go through the text of A Course in Miracles on the next video. Thanks again for joining me.